first year for your college, and so you could have all the experiments that you did in college, everything can be simulated using STEP. Alright, so one of the important things about STEP is that it can be used for not just for college students. You can use the software to demonstrate physics and teach physical concepts to students of all ages. Because this is just like a playground, very easy to use, very trivial to use, and you can have really weird stuff going on to the screen. Why would you do that? I don't know. Looks nice though. Right. So it's not restricted to just watching stuff on the screen. You can also plot all this. You can have graphs running around this. So we have this very amusing thing on the screen, and we want to trace how this particle is moving and this point on this particle. So we can attach a tracer to this, and this will plot out everything about this particle. Alright, so this is very, very awesome when you're trying to build now I know why you did this. This needs to go up the stairs. Right, so this is one of the fun applications in the education suite. All kinds of education. And so there are a lot of things you can add to this application. There are a lot of fixes that you can add to this application. You can build projects using this, make demonstrations, and if you record what you've done in this and play them in your projects, etc., it is going to help you. Okay, so all these applications are in the end going to help you in one way or the other depending upon your age. So you can go to the education project for KD and get a listing of all the projects according to an age criteria, or what kind of subject are you looking for? Are you looking for mathematics? So we have projects for mathematics, we have projects for science. So let's go to another cool application. Let's go to Turtle. Right. So how many of you had turtle or some derivative? I think it's also called logo, I believe. Logo, right? So how many of you had logo or turtle in school? I was one of the unlucky. I was very unlucky. I didn't have logo in my school. Just like it. So we jumped straight to QAC. Anyway, so the way turtle works is so you can tell this turtle how to move. So you can say move forward 5 steps, turn 90 degrees, move forward 20 steps. And the turtle will do all that for you. So this is really nice for school kids, so that it tells them how the basic fundamentals of giving instructions, how algorithms may work, and how to break down very, very complex tasks into simpler tasks. Okay, so some people with a lot of time and a lot of ingenuity have made fractals out of this application. So if you go up and look up demos, you can also find very complex scripts in which you can create weird patterns using this turtle. Does anyone here remember the commands for logo? Might get a little different than this. I think it's, let's see if we have any. Yeah. The syntax might be slightly different in this, but it does the same stuff. So you can make it run and do whatever you want, and if you have a younger brother or sister and you want to introduce him to something which is more productive than, say, Farmville, this is the way to go. You can ask it to move forward 200-300 steps and goes off the screen. Right. So this is really nice for students, and then again, applications like these are almost almost complete. There's not much that is missing in terms of functionality in these applications, but the other applications, for instance STEP, there is a So there's a large scope of contribution in these applications.
Alright guys, if you remember when you used to play in Logo, you used to come back again. I think this is a bug, somebody should fix it. One of you guys. I remember it used to come back again and we used to make these weird designs. Does anyone remember this? Yeah, so it used to come again when you put it too much over.
Okay, so if it goes off the screen, it should come back from the bottom.
Yeah, so somebody fix this.
Somebody should fix that.
I mean, you found a bug, get the source code, we'll show you how to, and find it out and figure it out. I mean,
the nice thing about education application is the code base isn't really huge. So if you're beginning working with KD applications, it's possible that it's quite easy for you to get accustomed to the code base. Okay, let's now go to a very, very trivial application called LinkedIn. Okay, so is anyone familiar with this game called Simon Says? Right, so this is a clone of Simon Says, and when you start this application, it'll ask you for the level. Right. So all you need to do is memorize the sequences that it produces, and it's a memory game. It starts out really easy, but it gets really, really difficult as you start to play. And this is a nice way to challenge any kid in the household or any student that you know. And okay, I know you're all in the hostel, so finding kids in the hostel might be a little difficult, but when you get home, you could probably introduce this game to a family member or friend. Again, this is a very trivial application, and if you have a look at the code base for this application, it's really easy to understand and figure out what's going on. So I would suggest that if you want to use an application as a learning point, this is going to be really fun. Then let's go to let's go a little complex and open Parlay. Okay, so now Parlay is going to be a very useful application if you want to learn a new language or if you want to improve your vocabulary. So there are collections available online, as well as you can create your own collections if you want. And these collections are going to So for instance, I say I want to learn French. I want to learn the basic words that I would need if I go to France. How do I practice all those? So I download a file which contains so how many of you used flashcards? Right. So flashcards are a very useful way to learn new stuff, and this application works similar to that concept. So you can say that I knew this word, let's go to the next word, and it records the words you knew and it tries not to play those words the next time you open this application. And if you want to learn a new language, this is a very nice way to do that. In terms of contributing to this application, it's not just the code that you can contribute to. You can also contribute new languages or new sets of flashcards to this. So for instance, create languages, and so you can have a new file for a local language that you know, and this would help people learn the language if they ever want to learn your local language. So I just give a very brief introduction about the other applications before jumping on to the final one, so that because there are a lot of applications in this, and we'll take a very long time if we go ahead and talk about all these applications. Oh, I guess one very important, very useful one would be K-Touch. This is the KD Touch typing tutor, and let's go on the screen. you do anything on the screen. Right? So what KTouch lets you do is it's a touch typing tutor, and hopefully this is going to run fine on your systems. You can open this application and this lets you practice touch typing. So are you familiar with touch typing? Okay, so you don't need to look at the keyboard when you type, and this is pretty useful when if you want to increase the speed of how fast you work. Okay. So then we have things like K-Hangman. As the name implies, it's a game of hangman, and then there's complex things like KM-plot, in which you can create mathematical plots. So if you want to submit a mathematics assignment, you can use stuff like KM-plot or K-algebra to solve a lot of equations or plot things onto a graph, and the output that you can print from these applications is really neat and really clean. So these can be submitted as it is. Then we jump to the final application, which I have contributed to for a long time now. It's called K-Stars, and it's a planetarium software. It's used by a lot of astronomers all over the world, and okay, this application is being used by a lot of astronomers all over the world, as well as a few observatories. Nice thing about K-Stars is it also has support for something called Lib80, which lets you control mechanical telescopes. So if you have a telescope which can automatically point to objects, you can hook it up to K-Stars. It will recognize the hardware for that telescope and automatically point it and track whatever star or object you are trying to look for. Okay, so this application is one of the has a pretty large code base. I think it has around 100,000. It has 100,000 lines of code, and so it is one of the larger applications in the education suite, and it is also one of the more complex applications in the education suite. So, as I said, the applications range from fairly trivial hangman games to K-Stars, which is a pretty complex astronomy software, and you can use this software to look up constellations, stars, objects, and then we also have support for supernovae. As I noticed, you have excellent skies over here in Gandhinagar. So if you are interested in knowing what's up in the sky tonight, you can use this. How many of you by any chance own a telescope? None. Awesome. Huh?
You have one?
I have one, but it's at home. So I wouldn't mind carrying it, but knowing these guys are just good. So if any of you ever gets a telescope or a pair of binoculars, you can enter the specs into this application, and this application will calculate all the stuff that you need to find out objects. For instance, it will find out what your field of view is going to be, and it's going to suggest you, for instance, how to go from one object to the other automatically, and create printable charts. Right. So, and it also has a very neat search feature. So if you